It's Iceland.
We take a moment just to contemplate the evening's activities. And then would you like to do the roll call?
Sure. Mayor Sean Reardon.
Here.
City Council President Ed Cameron. James Conley.
Here.
Karen Cullinan.
Here.
Kristen Donahue. Gary Gorski. Christian Hansen. Here. Sarah Holden.
Here.
Caroline McCarthy. Stephen Moore. Sarah Spalding.
Here.
Madeline Whitten.
Here.
Okay, any public comment? Appear to be, so
I knew I was gonna.
should we approve the previous meeting minutes, July 24?
Gary submitted some recommendations and have made some adjustments based on them.
So can I have a motion to approve the minutes based upon Gary's
So
recommendations,
moved.
renovations?
Second.
Lisa? Everybody in favor? Everybody opposed? Okay.
Yeah.
Next meeting date is October 16, 2024. That works. And then, do you want to talk about the Friends of the Public Library? Kevin?
Yes, I guess Sarah Holden and Stacy Brandon approached me with the idea of having regular updates from the Friends through the Board of Directors as a way of providing updates as well as more organic discussion between the Friends and the board. Is that seems that cover pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stacy did offer some suggestions, maybe 2 board meetings a year. One in November and one in June. The one in November would follow the book sale. We could talk about the book sale and its impact. And then at the end of the year, kind of talk about the year as a whole. Again, having the spring as well as other activities. Caroline is here. So I didn't know if this required a vote or not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Adding an agenda item
Yeah.
Yeah,
and inviting
as
them.
long as it's,
Yeah.
it's listed properly on the agenda next time or
Okay.
whenever they come.
Yeah, whenever they're coming.
Okay.
I don't know if Sarah's going to speak for them or somebody else is, but
No, they're gonna send somebody.
Yes.
I mean, it just, they do so much.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
And it's-
Makes sense, absolutely makes
And then
sense.
it also gets into the minutes.
Yeah,
That's, yeah.
good.
State aid.
Yes, almost.
Significant.
You want to talk about the 2024 annual report?
Right. All right, I transmitted to you the FY 24 annual report as something I just wanted, there's certain areas I wanted to bring to your attention. Particularly the circulation for FY 24. Overall circulation was up by about 3.5%. The interesting part of the circulation is that although overall circulation is up, physical circulation is slightly down. And conversely, our digital items, those that we either download or just access, showed a sharp increase. I mean, just Canopy showed a 22% increase, and that's streaming video. Ebooks was up 60%. I mean, excuse me, e-audio was up 60%. And ebooks was up 65%. So we're starting to, again, to see the slow transition of from the dominance being physical to a increasing amount of digital usage. As we notice this, we are starting to make adjustments in our collection development. This year, we reduced the amount of money we spend on physical audiobooks and DVDs. And we are shifting some of that money to digital. So we're starting to make the transition as the population is transitioning.
So Kevin, are the amount of physical books that are being checked out going down then?
Yes,
They are?
it's still majority and probably will be for a long time. But the interesting thing though is browsing for physical books tends to encourage checking out more items. When you browse for a digital book, you tend to check out one item. So there is, digital browsing does not bring about the same amount of serendipitous checkouts that physical browsing does. It's just not designed to be that way.
So when you say that you're shifting budget to the digital, so do you have to? How's buying digital books work or access to digital books?
It's actually changing. Right now, the consortium, we give them a lump sum. And then they buy according to the whole lists and what's popular. They handle the collection development of the digital items. In terms of video, we don't have there are no platforms out there for us to buy digital video in a way in which is easily accessible. We can buy into collections like Canopy, and we're also looking into buying into Hoopla. I understand the library did in the past, but the collection in Hoopla has changed and it's becoming more popular. So to supplement some of the things, we thought about buying into platforms like Disney Plus or Amazon, but unfortunately, they write it into the contract that you can't allow multiple users. So we literally have to buy 18,000 subscriptions if we wanted everyone to report to buy it, to have it, and we can't. So we have to look into platforms like Hoopla and Canopy. Maybe at some point there will be, but right now there isn't. So
MDLC buys X copies of a particular book.
right,
Just like we would buy it.
Mhm. yes,
Okay. And then they're only allowed to let out as many as they can.
correct. The Overdrive has changed, has allowed libraries to purchase what they call through Overdrive Advantage Plus. And that was reintroduced so that individual libraries can buy copies of ebooks. And we're going to start looking into that to help supplement some of the hold lists for Newburyport residents. We're actually going to be getting to training that in October for library staff on how to purchase through Overdrive Advantage Plus. So that is, it supplements what the consortium buys. So
Kevin, when I take out a book through Libby, which I do frequently enough, for walking the dog every night, I find there like 3 or 4 copies of a book for like 15 or 20 people waiting. It's a book and author I've never heard of, but obviously a lot of people have. How does that, it's just a consortium books and then a real consortium just.
right,
Is
the
it mine?
consortium buys not copies of, but access points. They'll buy the ability to have 3 people access that book at one time. Kind of like buying 3 copies of a book. But in the digital realm, it's once someone finishes, reading the digital book, your Kindle or whatever device will then say, sorry, you're done, and
Yeah.
it won't allow access to someone else.
So is that like one set charge, no matter how many people take it out, or is it every person that takes it out says to put charge to it? Sort of.
Typically, it's a number, there's two ways of doing it. They have metered availability, and then they have, you buy for a time period. MVLC buys a mix of those. Sometimes they'll buy 25, each access point gets 25 checkouts. And what they try to do is mimic what would be, how many checkouts would a popular item have before it's weeded due to condition? So typically 25 to 30 checkouts, might be some at the point where an item is no longer used. So they try to buy, that's the metered access. So there's the two of those types, so.
Do we track, well, how do you track? How long people are waiting for books? Is that something that feeds into what books you're gonna buy next, or?
Typically, we look at the number of people on the list. And that will tend to show us that, especially if a number of Newburyport residents are waiting for something, we would want to shift copies or buy copies, because copies we buy are Newburyport resident priority. If a Newburyport item gets checked in anywhere, it'll automatically come back here to fill a Newburyport hold. So that's how we look at it. It's not more, in Libby, they'll give you an estimate of how long it'll take to get a book. Sometimes I've seen 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's why I use the other partner network option that allows me to borrow from different networks across the state. And sometimes they have lower times, they want more copies, sometimes not. But that's another way of, but we really don't have a way of truly determining how long it's going to take. We just know how many people are waiting in line, and that's our best determinant. Any further questions about circulation or resource usage? Okay, moving on to programming. Want to indicate that we offered total of virtual programs 142, and in-person programs 417, with a total attendance of almost 10,000 program attendees over the year. We also offered a variety of different, what we call passive programs. Those of you who went on the tour, I'm sure Flora showed you the pick a type of book. That's a passive program. Having the puzzle on table out, that is a passive program. When Kristen Young does the book up bags for teens, that is a passive program. Because we call it passive because it's not where you get people into a space. It's more of at the kind of on demand or whenever is convenient for the person participating. So, okay. With regards to services, just wanted to note that our computer use still has not returned to the pre-pandemic levels. Our website visits and reference questions, as well as meeting room use, is back to or exceeding pandemic levels. So, it does show that people are coming into the building. I can make a guess about the lack of PC use, but I could only make an assumption that more people are using their phones and less people are doing stuff on PCs. But we still have a very large number of PC usage. Here in the library. Any questions or comments about?
Home outreach.
Yes, home outreach has, the number of deliveries we make has doubled. From FY 23 to FY 24, and we're looking to increase that.
Why is that? That's odd, I think.
Why the jump?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's because we are doing more marketing and to residents who are it's hard to say, who meet the criteria. And we're finding, as they're also, telling their friends. So we're getting kind of word of mouth as well as, traditional marketing. And we're getting more people who are applying for that service. And since we have, Floor is coordinating that and is actually introducing, she said, 2 staff members who work with her on that. So they're able to go to at least 2 visits a month. So we're able to, do more. Also wanted to, in this annual report, I'm spending a little more time illustrating the outreach, collaborations and partnerships. This is in response to the feedback that I got from the board in both 2018 and last year. So I figured if you both mentioned it as a priority, both times I applied, I figured it was enough a time that we actually start highlighting what we're doing in terms of the actual collaborations, the types of partners that we have, as well as the types of outreach that we are doing. The types of outreach we are doing, there are 3 types. There's marketing, where we will go to an event and interact with the public and market the library's services and resources, etc. There's educational outreach that could be as simply, first example is Allison does a story time at Parker River Refuge. And she also does presentations at Immaculate Conception Middle School. So she is going out to the community and either giving a presentation or delivering a program. That the other type of outreach is service delivery, and that is the home delivery is the perfect example of service delivery. We're actually bringing our services out to those who are not physically able to come into the building. You'll notice we have quite a variety of currently existing partnerships. We partner with 3 city departments and hope to partner with more. This year, I plan on enacting on a conversation I've had with the Office of Sustainability. The library has done some collaborations in the past, but the conversation I've had is potentially doing some presentations on seasonably appropriate presentations on certain sustainability projects like rain barrels, etc. So Molly and Mara and I will be working on developing that. We do a number of school visits and visit daycares, and we also collaborate with local nonprofits and cultural groups. You see that last year we officially partnered with 5 cultural and local nonprofits. And I also wanted to include a list of Massachusetts libraries have what's called the Virtual Library Program Collaboration. And there are, we've partnered quite a bit with Ashland Public Library. They do a very large number of virtual programming, and they coordinate the availability or the access to these virtual programs to libraries across the state. And we collaborated at least 14 times with them. Also, the Tewksbury Public Library is another library that does a lot of coordination, especially with the Merrimack Valley Library Consortium. And so there are at least 6 libraries in the state that we have at least collaborated once with programming virtually. Any question about our outreach collaborations and partnerships? The building, last year, want to highlight that, the maintenance of the HVAC became a quite apparent, is on my list of things to attend to. But we're working with, currently it's in the process of developing the scope of work. Then we will go to an RFP, request for proposals, and have information ready so that come next June, we'll have sufficient supporting data to hopefully provide a robust request that will make sense to City Council. And it will be a system that will be sustainable, hopefully net zero as best we can. And meet the needs of a building that was designed more for the modern age, and a building that was designed over 200 years ago. So that is quite a challenge, but I think that the city is going to be up to the challenge as we work through the process. Also wanted to highlight something actually that we had an update on. We had, as part of the LSTA Access for All grant, we spent a majority of our funding on the listening assisted systems in this room. The system that was installed and was ready to go from the get-go was the FM system that is similar to what is being used in City Hall as well as at the Senior Center. But we also installed the hearing loop. Upon installation, there was an issue with the transformer outside a couple of weeks ago. I was notified, thanks to National Grid and Andrew Levine, the work they did together. National Grid actually did the work a lot sooner than they had expected, and the system is calibrated and ready to go. The hearing loop system, yes. So we're in the process of training staff. Jessica's like, thank goodness, because it's right before the deadline for final reporting for the grant. So we can actually say that we did the training for the hearing loop, and that is fully calibrated and ready to go. So that is, let's see, that is the building. If there aren't any questions about building, yeah.
Can I ask what the interactive sensory panels are?
Oh, yes. Those panels are a way in which oftentimes children may need something to focus on to kind of bring them into if they're overstimulated. And so we purchased panels that help children who might be overwhelmed by the sensory environment around them to have something to focus on in the building, in the children's room. Sometimes it's just a spinning wheel where, you know, marbles would kind of fall on a cascading pattern, or we have one that's shaped like a flower that you can shift the sequins so that the patterns, you know, change. And we have some that, you know, they look like animals, but they're meant to focus the child and to help them calm down and to be able to continue to enjoy the children's room. And after they've been able to kind of recenter, and then they can go back out and use the children's room.
Yeah, we had these installed at our new playgrounds in town, and we also have them at the school.
And we're still in the process of gathering feedback from the community, but we'll say it kind of, it meets a twofold. It meets kind of a sensory, help those who are sensory challenged. But also, we had feedback that there weren't enough interactive things to do in the children's room. So this kind of is it meets a dual purpose. Let's see, moving on to technology. We upgraded several staff and couple PCs. We upgraded the print and computer use management software. One was not our choice. But we had to upgrade our, I guess, wireless wire. Yeah, I'm sorry. But, yeah. And then one thing actually I did not actually. When I came here, I discovered that the library was not purchasing technology on a regular schedule. And there are some PCs that are 6, 7, 8 or more.
Not yet.
Okay.
Give it 2
Um,
years.
Good. Essentially, PCs after about 5 years start to impact performance by the employee, workflow, efficiency, and they then start to drag on maintenance resources. So the typical replacement cycle is 5 years. So I moved the library to a 5-year replacement cycle, and we were able to get the funding into the library budget to enable that to happen. We have in service about between 55 and 60 PCs in the building. So on a yearly basis, we'll now be buying about 12 PCs. And as we move along that process, we hope to continue to keep that funding level so that the oldest PC we'll have in the building is 5 years old. And that'll be just before its replacement. Any questions about technology? All right, last year, our municipal budget was over the municipal allocation requirement and came in at $1,489,350. We received $42,000 in state aid, over $15,000 in donations and fees that will go straight into the special gifts account. The Friends of the Library allocated almost $35,000 for programs, materials, etc. We received $20,000 from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners LSTA Access for All grant, for a total income of over $1,601,689. And speaking of the Friends of the Library pledged support library, supplementing the library's municipal budget by $34,346 to support museum pass programs for children, teens, and adults, the purchase of library materials, purchases of access to databases, collection materials for the collection maintenance materials for the Archive Center, and staff professional development. Both their spring and fall sales brought in a total of $22,255, which they recognize as that was a very good year. Okay. And that includes the library annual report. Okay. Unfortunately, I was not here last year in September, so I don't know if the board needs to vote to approve this.
Well, we can, certainly.
I don't think we would, but
Yeah.
I don't.
So, is there a motion to approve?
So,
To a second?
second.
Everybody in favor? Anybody opposed? Right.
Just for an time.
Yeah.
Just.
And what?
So you want to talk about the strategic plan?
Yes. Just wanted to give you a sense of.
Yeah, I didn't print it out.
Oh.
Very pretty though.
I just also to give you a sense of, what is the actual, plan?
There's a lot of comments.
This is the plan. And these are the appendices. The majority of pages belong to the community survey summary results. There are a plethora of comments on a multitude of questions. And will be food for thought as we move through the different fiscal years. As I stated in July, the majority, you have approved already the major components. What essentially you're approving now is what you've already approved, plus the nice introduction and kind of the package. So I present to you the fiscal plan, the strategic plan for FY 26 through 29.
I'd like to object again to the mission statement, but I think you wanted it to just go, and I'm fine with that. I just want to put my oar in, I guess.
Just to address your objection, which is duly noted. I've spoken with Barbara Levis.
Great.
She is very happy to work with us to do a mission statement process, kind of like we did with the SOAR, strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And that will help us to develop a new or modified mission statement.
Well, it's possible that I'm the lone objector, in which case you wouldn't have to go through all of that.
Remind us what the objection is.
Well, my objection is this, the current mission statement says something like, we'd like this space to be welcoming, as a place to share cultural knowledge. And I don't think that's what we do here. And it doesn't celebrate the actual accomplishment of the incredible amount of materials that are delivered to citizens, which is what everyone works really hard here to do. And when I was looking through the comments, one of the comments was about how we should have a maypole and we'll all dance around the maypole. Did anyone read this? And I was like crying, laughing. And then I was like, actually, that's in alignment with the mission statement. So if someone wanted to do that, that would be in perfect alignment. And maybe you guys want to have a maypole.
Yeah, well, that's how I took that.
Anyway, so I think it doesn't celebrate the huge success of what this building actually does, and it sends us on a path that's not focused on the objective of what a library does. That's.
Was the mission statement a lot different than the last one? Or has this always been, we're just gonna carry it over?
It was carried over from the previous plan, and I think it was 2018, there was this.
I was part of it, but the other one was empower
knowledge, like the mission statement was just words.
Oh, like
This is
inspiration.
still just words, but
Yeah.
this is a sentence.
Yeah.
That's going in the right direction.
Carol, I'm just gonna Kevin some text that I suggested.
Yeah.
Great.
Work as mission statements.
Yeah.
I
you
just
can-
think-
Yeah,
It's, what you guys work really hard doing is getting materials, whether print or digital or whatever, in people's hands for them to use. And that's like what you do. That should be honored.
I don't see any downside to doing the mission statement
Okay.
exercise.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can just go.
Especially if
Yeah.
if we're not sort of having to plug it into the strategic plan.
Right.
It's just add a little pressure around it.
and the nice thing is this is fluid.
Okay,
We can, insert the new mission statement in here and it doesn't,
So what's the best way to change the mission statement?
I highly recommend, bringing in Barbara Levers, who helped us with this. She has, actually, I think she worked with the library the last time this was done. So she has like a process that we can go through, to kind of gather the sense of, what is the library's mission based on feedback, comments, and et cetera, but it's done in a much more concentrated, it's not a 3-month process. It's a meeting or two. Yeah,
So would that require a separate meeting from the normal board meeting to do that?
Have to be,
I think it would be a separate meeting.
is it a public meeting?
I have to go, okay. I'm trying, what was it? What was it like the last time?
It would have to be a public meeting if it's meeting for.
But.
That's fine,
Yes.
it just. It's what it is. Not flexible.
Well, would it make sense for people to send in their suggestions ahead of time to you for me to look at?
I would say they could be part of the discussion. If people, Gary has already sent me, suggested text, which we can insert into the discussion. I think from what I understand, it's trying, there is a process that Barbara would walk us through that, will draw out, different phrases and or, different concepts. And then there's a process of bringing them together into like, the text of a brief sentence.
So would it make sense for her to send you her comments along with Gary's then? So they have those to start with. Sure. So when I see it the first time and.
yeah,
We can save them.
I have a lot of.
That's great.
Sure, so do we want to consider having a subcommittee of only 4 of us? To work on it, or do we think it should be all of us?
Well, if you have a subcommittee of, I guess I would have to consult with the legal law. If it's an internal. Let me get back to you on all of
Yeah,
that.
just
Yeah.
trying to make it the most efficient, really.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a process in it that involves. You, the board, but also from what Jessica is, describing, also involve staff members, and I think maybe. Involved, community, the public, so. I think it's just more than just. Board, so. Let me check and see. I'll talk to Barbara and see what she thinks, how we want to do this, and then see if. I'll talk to Andrew also about the open meeting law, just to see if this is not, if it's an internal. Workshop kind of thing, if it needs to be an open meeting. So.
It would eventually be brought to the boards. Yes, the meeting, so.
Yep.
Whatever works. Right, Barbara probably. Yes.
So,
Well done.
we, It's a motion, isn't it?
Is there a motion to approve the report?
So moved.
Is there a second? Anybody in favor? Anybody opposed?
Okay. Okay, all right. This,
Nice job.
thank you, there's a lot of hard work and a lot of people. Okay, all right, I want to. Hey, I'm going to go through just highlight some things, from my, head librarian report. I'm going to jump to library statistics for the summer. This summer, we started off much higher than last year. And I mean, as you, from the chart that I sent you. And the green line, the top line is actually where we are this year. Over the blue line of last year. By a couple thousand.
Wow.
Our circulation is up. So we're starting off very well this year, so I'm very pleased about that. Any other questions about circulation and attendance? All right, moving on to buildings and grounds. My favorite new friend, the sump pump. On August 28th, following the board's suggestion, as well as what the board's encouraging, as well as with Wayne Amaral, head of DPS, had an assessment done by John Carey, Kevin Smith, and Mike Bartlett. They determined that we needed to actually get an actual percentage of the sewage that goes through the sump pump, not just a guesstimate. And they did determine that 100% of the sinks, toilets, and HVAC goes through the sump well, which is barely 10 feet deep.
Wow.
An interesting fun fact, the pumps have on the busiest days have been activated 42 times
In one day?
in one day. I have received based on their assessment, there are two routes that we can go. I'll give you the one that DPS recommends and that I also agree with, is that to make sure that the sump pump is working as efficiently and effectively as possible, to replace the pump panel with a digital activation instead of an actual physical, clicking of mechanisms. It would just be an actual digital, thank you, mechanical. It's the big. So that replacement would be about $11,000. It was actually half what the initial estimate was. The initial estimate was that replacement of the panel and replacement of the existing kind of balloon floats with what they call water pressure attenuators, which are in the well at particular levels, and when water reaches them, instead of the attenuators, nothing can get caught on them because they don't move. So they'll be able to sense the level of the water and alert the panel to turn on the pumps. This is to keep the current system working more efficiently, more effectively, and have fewer incidences of the pump system failing because items get caught on the floats. this does not address, the amount of water that goes into the well. That is something I'm going to further see, if John Kerry and Kevin Smith can help us to see how much it would cost to divert a large percentage of the water to the gravity-fed sewer line and not go through the subwell. This, all indications from both John Kerry and Kevin Smith is that the system should not have been designed this way. Anything above the, level of the, above grade should have gone through the sewer, gravity fed. It should not have gone through the subwell. Don't know why it happened, but the building was designed 25 years ago. We can't have a conversation with folks. So, going to see if we can work, see how much that would cost, whether it's a project we want to, is feasible. So I'll, bring you feedback or updates on that as I get them. So my recommendation, they recommended, the other recommendation was $4,000 cheaper, but it keeps the mechanical, activation of the pumps. It does put in the attenuators, but again, the mechanical activation is over 20 years old. And I figure why save $4,000 when we're going to end up spending it anyway, and probably much more. In this way, we've got then the state-of-the-art system in there that will last us a long time and keep things moving, working efficiently and effectively.
That sound good, Sarah?
Yeah, it's curious. Why it was designed that way.
I can scratch my head. I'm just gonna. Yeah. But I'm gonna move forward with the $11,000 quote to get the full panel. Because of the other ones, it's the system's over 20 years old, so we don't want it to break down and cause more problems. So. Any other questions on buildings and grounds? Okay, I just wanted to, our search for the staff librarian for adult services is over and we have a person in the building. Nicole Levinson started on September 3rd. Her integration is going on quite well. She's very knowledgeable, comes to us with years of reference experience, and also she knows Symphony. She knows Easy Time Clock. She knows when to work. She already has experience using the same software that we do. So a lot of it is just the Newburyport specific things that she's learning. So we're very happy and excited. And she seems, she keeps coming back to work, so I guess it's a good sign. So, plus she moved all the way from Alaska, so
Wow.
she has an incentive to come back to work every day. So, and she's doing quite well. I mean, it's nice to have her here. I think she's going to be a great addition to the team. Okay. The next thing I just wanted to jump to, if you don't mind, is there was a question about the action plan in July, and I just wanted to let you know that where we are on that. I have sent out to department heads the approved list of goals and objectives, and we are gathering their ideas that would fit and in under each of the objectives. And Jess and I are then going to take the ideas that they have, integrate them with what we have, and come up with a scheme that'll be based on a quarterly basis. So that we'll have this to you. My goal is for the November meeting, so that you have a chance to review it. And then we'll submit it by the beginning of December. That's our goal. Any questions of the action? Um, one last thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, a number of you have gone on tours. I can, and they've been, for those who have gone on tour, Carolyn, I know you worked here, so I know you know staff and you know the building, so I just, for those of you who haven't, it's a great opportunity to meet the staff and to allow them to, I'm gonna use the word, to shine in front of you. Give you an opportunity to really, show you what they're proud of, what they do, and the spaces in which they work. So if you haven't, had a tour yet, I highly recommend it. I think it's a great experience. So, and for those of you who had, I didn't know if you wanted to share just what you thought.
It was great. It was real, I think we ended up an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we went to all the different spaces, met all the staff, but some of the highlights for me were the children's room. Amazing how many things they've upgraded in there and the way they're trying to think like children and. Yeah, just those, access points or whatever I think you got the grant for.
Yes.
Sensory panels?
Sensory panels that are like mounted on the ends of the bookcases and everything in there just made a lot of sense and the staff are so excited. And the archive center, I think I've only been this before, but amazed at the amount of work that's going on down there as far as organizing. Not only the things that have been organized, but everything has a sticky on it about what needs to happen with that object or, you know, book or whatever. So it looks really good down there. And like you can tell that there's been a lot of work that's going toward that. Those are my highlights. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would agree with the points that you just brought up, that the children's room was amazing and the staff were very excited and very, they wanted to tell you everything that they do and, it was great to hear. So it's very important.
I'll get back to you because you had said you wanted me to contact you this week. So we will, reach out and set up a time. Anyone else, if you wish to do it, please let me know.
I'm gonna jump in for something. I just want to share with everyone the fact that so many of you were interested in coming to meet them in a place where they just want to tell you, as you say, everything that they're doing and they're so excited about it and they're thrilled about it. I have been hearing about your visits from the staff, like days later, they're like, oh, I talked to the board member. Did you know she came by? Did you know she came by? Like, they're just thrilled to have you guys there. So I just want to say thank you so much. It was really smart to do and way to go, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I only wished I could have stayed longer.
I think it was, yeah, it's like, I went with Karen, it's like an hour and a half or hour or something. I had to go somewhere, but I was like, I could have looked around more and wanted to ask more things, and yeah, I really love that you guys did.
Right, and the last thing I just want, thank you. Is that if you have not returned, thank you for bringing it to the office for me, appreciate that. Just fill out the certificate and bring it back to me. If you don't have it or you need me to resend it, just let me know and I'll happily resend it to you. Just want to get these to the city clerk so that he has them on file for you.
I just have a question, and maybe you guys covered it because I sauntered in late, but you were arranging for the staff training about interaction with troublesome
Oh,
patrons.
yes, sorry, that is, yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd love to hear more about it at the end of my.
Yes, thank you, very important. I sent you an email regarding the uptick in mental health episodes that we've had in the library and the impact that it's had on staff. I'd love to say that I've got training arranged and organized and scheduled. I am actually having a very hard time, and I'm surprised, finding training to help the staff understand the impact and to help them prevent similar instances. I'm working with Donna Drellick. She's trying to work with, I'm also working with Maya, the Massachusetts Interlocal Insurance Association, just trying to find something. We have a couple of webinars that we can use. One of them is Warren, that's done by Warren Graham. He developed what's called the Black Belt Librarian. It's about library security, how to deal with difficult patrons. Another one Jessica found where the gentleman has worked with homeless, and it focuses on how do you work through difficult interactions where someone has has themselves undergone trauma, and how it can impact their ability to behave in, according to cultural norms sometimes. So we're working on it. We're trying to again, just on an individual basis, refer staff to the EAP, which is the Employee Assistance Program. And we're just trying to listen. And a lot of what their actually response is, they're just glad I'm doing something. There was a culture here where things like this were dealt in-house. You didn't call police, you didn't call fire. It was, if there was an issue with someone with mental illness, it was the staff's responsibility for dealing with that appropriately. And you didn't do it right if there was an episode. That is not, I come from a different training. I come from a different background where, yes, the library is open to all people who behave in the ways in which they are supposed to. And librarians are not psychologists or social workers. We're not trained. It's not what we do. What we need to be able to do is to know when to call the appropriate people who are trained. So there's a cultural change, a procedural change. We have the policies in place. We just need to help the staff to work through them, interpret them, and act on them. That not only ensures their safety, but the safety of everyone who walks in the building, including the person who's having the mental health episode or otherwise. So, again, sometimes you find the things that are, need to be worked on, and this is something that we really is a priority for me that we need to work through with the staff. So I just wish it was a little bit easier to find the training.
With the union?
We could ask, but
They usually send us back to our insurance, which is me.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that's where we're running into the.
yeah. We had Riverside Trauma Center come in. But unfortunately, staff did not want to partake of their services. But that's what you do.
They were there to be available for counseling with staff?
Yeah.
Got it.
But no one wanted to avail themselves. Unfortunately, Jessica and I also realized that we went about it in unfortunately a little too public a way.
Mhm.
We wanted to encourage people to do it, but unfortunately, our lack of knowledge in how to deal with this we presented it to people as they were at the service desk in front of others. So they're less likely to want to say, yeah, I got a problem, I need to go talk to somebody in front of their peers.
We're
So,
ready for next time. I'll just
Yeah.
schedule them and make them go.
yeah.
They can either talk or they can leave. I don't care what they do when they arrive.
So we are in process. Thank you for reminding me. I do wanted to keep you up to date on that as much as possible, because it's important for this, the staff to be able to handle these situations appropriately and call the appropriate people for the safety of themselves and the patrons. So we're working on it. Thank you.
And was an update on the investigation, the city council investigation?
The last general governance subcommittee meeting, according to Ed Cameron, they are narrowing the choice of the investigator. And that is the latest that I know.
Volunteer program updates.
Oh, yes, yes, very popular, very exciting. As we, Jessica and I, we did a kind of an assessment on the fly as we were getting more and more people applying. We've decided to raise the number of volunteers from 4 to 8. Because we knew that we could adequately handle 4 people a week. So instead of just having 4 every week, we have 4 on the first and third weeks, and then 4 on second and fourth. We thought it'd be great if we could get 8 people to apply. We've accepted over 15 or 17 applicants. We've 4 of the applicants so far that we've interviewed are moving on to the training stage. And 4 more are being in the process. We've had their interview, we're just contacting them, setting up the time. So 8 people have agreed total to move on. So now we're the travesty of riches stages where we have to say, well, we can interview you, but you might not be able to do something for 3 or 6 months from now. But 8 people,
So are they generally retired people with time in their hands or?
I'd say maybe 75%.
Yeah, we have a couple of college students
Yeah,
who are offering their time. 2 of those 17 are actual teens. And they're being diverted into the teen advisory board committee.
Any of the folks who had the hue and the cry from the community?
2 former volunteers who were previously shelters.
Yeah.
Great shelters, not
Yeah,
archive.
Correct.
Can you send the rest of them to my house to read my garden?
That's a different kind of volunteer program. No, very, very happy, that it's a great process. I get to meet all the applicants, and then Flora and Jessica, take them a little bit further along the process. So I get to meet every one of them, they get to ask questions of me. And I think it's a well-designed program. But we're also gathering feedback and making adjustments as we need to. I have nothing further.
that's it for the meeting, as far as you're concerned?
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions, any further discussion? Not can we entertain a motion to adjourn then? Somebody? Second. Everybody in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, we are unanimous. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to.
Yes, ma'am.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Sitting that old.
Seemed like a really vibrant guy.
He was, and he was with the.
Mention that on the
In this building.
last.
And there you go, you found one. So, I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. Don't say it.
Yes.
I think there is one. Just didn't realize they had it. I don't know. It's gotten very.
Partners that really shot those holding everything.
I can speak to that where you think you have it.
Yeah.
It's not where you thought you had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word had all.
And look